Tuesday means time to talk to Union head football coach Antonio Graham. He's got himself a little trip to a former place he's been. We'll talk about that in a minute. First of all, flashback district win against Edmond Santa Fe, and as I look back at the game and I've looked at the replay, I don't think it was as close as the score at 16-6, especially because of your defense. Now that you've seen that film, how do you feel?
I feel about the same as you do. Defensively, we played very well. Offensively, we had some great drives as well. I think the biggest thing is once we kind of got some momentum, there was a flag that was called, and it was a drive killers. And so whatever it was holding or bat snap or anything like that, and as well, we had some opportunities where we dropped a couple passes, that kind of hit us, and so we got to continue to execute a little bit better. And when your number is called, you got to make those plays.
Yeah, we're going to talk some numbers defensively in a minute, but I want to go to the offensive side because, as you said, it was a night of fits and starts, if you will. But I
Hmm.
really believe Skylar Mormon is coming along at that quarterback spot. He helped with his legs quite a bit. He had a couple
Hmm.
of nice balls he threw in there as well, and it just to me, he just continues to improve. It's not in giant leaps and bounds, but I see growth every week. Do you see the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important. One thing I always say, you're getting better or getting worse, and scholars continue to learn the game plan and to execute the plays. And he's doing a great job of operating and being coachable, and also taking care of the football. There's a lot of things what people don't see. The interception that he threw, we busted on the routes. We were running some comebacks, and he threw the ball exactly where the ball was supposed to go, and we just made a bust on that play. And so he did a great job of, keeping drives alive and, control what he can control. And he did a good job at it.
Well, once again, too much credit, too much blame when you play that position, right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. And, one thing I do want to say, Santa Fe does have a really good defense. Number 0 played very well. He played essentially, he's a great defensive line. He's going to Baylor for a reason, and he showed why he's a Power Five kid as well. And so, hats off to their defensive staff. They have always done a good job as well.
Yeah, and that kid has an offer as at Auburn now as well, and we've got Oklahoma
Mhm.
State commits on there. There are D1 dudes, well, they're FBS dudes on their roster,
Hmm.
so you can't
Absolutely.
overlook that.
Yes.
Now, I want to talk about your defense a little bit because we saw Kane Brackney early. You told us about him early, and again, he's a guy who's learning your style. We talked to him post game; he was our player of the game. He's learning the style of your defense, and I see him getting more and more comfortable. Was that his best game?
Yeah, I think so. I think the biggest thing with him, he's whenever you prepare well, and it makes you play a lot faster. We met a few times this week. It's nothing against my linebacker coach, but I always tell my linebacker coach and my defensive coordinator that they have the hardest job on staff because those are the things that's my background.
Yeah.
And so those him and Tucker and those linebackers are starting to become more students of the games. And whenever you can recognize certain formations and certain backfield sets, and they have offensive have tendencies, you tend to play a lot faster. You react a lot faster, and so they're doing a good job preparing, and he's definitely have gotten better each week as well.
You mentioned Tucker Cook because he was everywhere. I mean, he was flying around all over the place. Tackle numbers aren't quite well; they're actually really good. But I
Hmm.
see him again instinctively because I know he knows your defense better. Is he helping bring him along as
Absolutely.
well?
Yes, yes, sir. He's a guy that I'm kind of putting on him where he's the quarterback of the defense. And I don't think he's had that responsibility. And now he's starting to understand, like, hey, if the offensive line was to shift the tight end over, you got to adjust the D line. And he's like, one day he asked me, he's like, well, coach, can't the defensive line see that stuff? I was like, no, they probably can, but it's your job to go up there and tap them and get them shift over into that's just part of you operating the defense. And you can tell that he's getting in that rhythm and learning how to be that quarterback on the defensive side of the ball.
And there's no question he reacts quickly. And I think also, at least numbers wise, Rand Williams' best numbers game when it comes to tackles overall. How
Hmm.
did he play?
Yeah, Rion is a guy that's also, I think, that's continually getting better as well. I think Rion is one of the great athletes. You can see him that we're playing on both sides of the ball as
Right.
well. He also plays a little bit of running back, and also he can play some fullback as well. And so defensively, just his speed it's hard to get an edge on that guy, and that's we got to have that out of that guy at that nickel spot. You got to be really good at setting the edges and nothing get outside of you as well. And when the opportunity presents itself, you got to make the play.
Anybody else jump out? Other stars, if you will, from the game?
Oliver as well. He played really well. He was in great position on that touchdown, and sometimes you gotta give the offensive guy credit. He made a really good play, and Dejon, he's continued to progress as well and getting better as the more he's continued to play. And the biggest thing is like our defensive line. They did a really good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. Of that quarterback is a great athlete. Whenever you got a quarterback that can run the ball and you have a good tailback that can complement the run game too, it makes the defense a little bit more harder because you adding another weapon to the game as well. And so the defensive line did a good job as well.
Yeah, they did because those kids were contained really for most of the night. Now it's Owasso. When you head over there, this is an interesting situation. You were a Union guy who was at Owasso and played Union. Now you're a Union guy at Union who's going to go play Owasso, where you'd had a chance to be not only a coach but a head coach.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm just wondering what the emotions are like for a game like that, Antonio.
I'm trying my best, and I'm telling my kids it's just another game for me. I'm not making it. You can kind of screw yourself up a little bit when you kind of make it about that, Rick. And so for me, it's just another game, another big district game. They're at home, and we're on the road. We got to be able to travel well, and we got to be ready to play because I told those guys, I told my team, I've been around these kids since they were in third grade. Some of those guys since third grade, they're going to come out and play hard, and that's what I expect them to do. And we have to match that intensity, and we can't come out flat. We got to get started real, real fast. And so I'm looking forward to our guys going over there and playing well.
All right, so that's one thing to say, but I know there are emotions involved. How are you really controlling that this week?
Man, I'm trying not to make it, the biggest thing for me is, Rick, is to make it about these kids in this program. These kids they're buying in into what we're preaching, and it's a day-to-day deal. It's not a battle. They're starting to learn what my expectations are, and I'm not trying to make it about all that. I'm trying my best to look at this thing like it's just another game, Rick, and it's a big game. Right now, it's the biggest game of the year for us, and so that's how we taking it every weekend. And it ain't no other way to put it. At obviously, there are relationships over there that I developed a long time within the program. Not only, Coach Blankenship is a huge mentor of mine as well, and so I kind of think it's pretty cool to get to go against my old boss and my old coach and stuff like that. And so it's a great opportunity for me, and it's a great opportunity for this football team to show how hard they worked this week. And so we're just looking forward for the challenge, Rick.
It's district, and that's what really matters in this
Yes,
whole thing.
sir.
But obviously, a win there would be huge. They are very talented offensively. You've been around those kids. You had to defend them, and you had to head coach them for a while. What are some of your
Mhm.
biggest concerns with that group?
Obviously, it starts with their skill guys. They arguably one of the best skill guys in the state, in my opinion, with Tay Belto and Noah Hill and Julius Wilson. And only, you have a good quarterback that's, he's still young in my eyes. And so you got to just do a good job of being sound and make him snap the ball again and bend but don't break and, get the guy on the ground. And you got to have great pursuit to the football against these guys. You got to be able to game tackle because anytime when you got good skill guys like that, if you miss a tackle, they can take it to the house. So we got to get all 11 hats to the football, and you got to play with an edge about yourself.
What do you see
And
on them defensively?
defensively, you got a bunch of defensive line. They're very well. They're well coached. Once again, Steve Neal, he was a old Union guy as well. He's going to have those kids ready. I know one thing he's going to preach run to the football. And so, and with that being said, we got to have our offensive line and guys, you got to play to the end of the whistle with these guys. And I think that's the biggest thing to me, their effort and they try to get to the ball with an attitude. And so you got a bunch of kids that out there that are very hungry as well because, they know how big this game is for them as well.
If you were to break it down into a couple of keys to have a good chance to win, what would they be?
The biggest thing is you gotta be good in all three phases of the football game. Last week they they had three big plays on special teams. They faked two punts on broken arrow, and they did a high onside. So we got to be on our key on special teams for sure. And you got to be able to make you got to be able to win on first down against these guys, get it behind the change, and control the ball on offense. Obviously they're very explosive on offense, and if we can control and keep their offense off the field, that's always going to go into our benefit as well. And so, with that being said, you got to be good on special teams and win on first down defensively and control the ball. Clock management is going to be a huge deal for us this game.
It's going to
And
be fun. There's no doubt
and
about it. It's just going to
yeah,
be
and the last thing is you got to be able to weather the storm. There's
yeah.
going to be some times that we face adversity, and you got to be able to, it can't be like the Jinx game, Rick, where when you get down, you dig yourself in the hole or whatever. You got to be able to answer adversity and handle adversity very well.